I'm LaRie.
And I'm Nick B.
And this is Dirty Roses Podcast, where two girls from the City of Roses discuss love, lust, and perception.
And we got two very different perspectives.
That's right, because my girl Nick B is a long-term habitual dater.
Oh, for real? That's what we're doing?
I mean, girl, it's facts.
Okay, you're right. And my girl LaRie was tied down and now newly single and don't know a thing about dating.
Dang, well, here we are taking our friends' dating stories
and having real life conversations.
Dirty Roses Podcast starts now. Hey, I'm LaRie.
And I'm Nick B.
Oh, go ahead.
I apologize.
We got a guest in the house, and he's so eager to talk. He is
excited. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I forgot she was here.
See, and you know what happens is on podcasts, we introduce you, fam. But you know what? I'm going to let the homie, the mushball extraordinaire, go ahead and introduce yourself, fam. Go ahead.
My name's Michael.
Michael. He's Michael.
Better known as Bain.
Better known as Bain.
Yeah.
We're not using no other names. Michael and Bain.
Michael and Bain.
Welcome to the Dirty Roses Podcast, y'all. We are so excited to be here. We are going to be talking about toxic relationships and possibly toxic people. So, as you know, every episode we start with a scenario that we have gotten from either a friend, somebody has submitted to us, a listener, or whatever, and we share the scenario, and that's our topic for the day. So today, we got girl meets guy on the internet. Okay, guy approaches her in the inbox on social media. He wants to set up a date, but she's like, no, I'm not really feeling this right now. We haven't talked yet. He's trying to do a date like instantly. So it goes from him wanting a date to him flashing because he did not get the date. And then he becomes very possessive over the internet. And then she's like, I don't think I want to even pursue this person because they're already exhibiting toxic behaviors and it's only going to get worse from here, right? So in this situation, he then goes crazy on the internet. She has to block him.
Oh my God.
She can't.
What?
It's a whole thing, right? So she...
This ain't real, is it?
This is real. These are all scenarios that happen from our friends or people that we know.
Respectfully, what dumbass nigga did that?
A very dumb one.
I mean, we gonna get into it. There's a lot of dumbasses that do stuff like this.
In my humble opinion, that ain't even toxic. You ran out of game when you got mad just because she said no to one date.
But we're gonna get to that. Yes. Okay. So what is toxic? Right. So has that ever happened to you, Nick B, where you've had a guy approach you and just starts exhibiting all these red flags instantaneously, and then you're like, nope, not doing it?
I mean, honestly, the guys that I date, they like to do the slow play. You know what I mean? They start out normal, and the toxicity just grows the more you get to know them. I've had a lot of that. I've had this one guy that flashed on me when we were out at a bar together. Okay. And while at the bar, getting ready to leave, paying the bill, little things like that, and this guy comes up next to me, totally not my type. I mean, this guy I'm with and the guy who was approaching me, not at all my type. Visibly, socially, everything not my type.
Was he juicy-mouthed?
That white thing on the side, that white thing.
Because we've had conversations about juicy-mouthed people, but go ahead.
This was a whole different level of non-attracted to this man.
Got it.
And so when the guy was saying nothing more than, hey, I really like this band. This place is great. Have you ever been here before? I think I'm going to bring my wife here next week. That was kind of the gist of our conversation.
Gotcha.
And this dude flashed like, don't you ever go talking to no dude in front of me again. And I'm like, whoa, we are in a social setting. I'm a social person. I mean, that was a huge red flag for me.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is what we're doing?
Instantly.
At a social bar?
Right.
Yeah. So I have more of the slow play. I don't really have the right off the bat. They like to trick me into the crazy.
Oh, and see, I've definitely had this scenario type of thing happen where I get the instant crazy. Like you gonna be my girlfriend crazy. And I'm like, we just met like online 2 minutes ago. Like my green light just turned on.
Wait, you mean you just responded?
I'm just
like literally like my green light's on. Hey, beautiful.
You mean my phone's still open, but I ain't on it.
Oh, not hey beautiful. Hey beautiful Jew?
The hey beautiful me, yes. And
that was the red flag right there. The hey beautiful.
Beautiful.
I'm out with that.
The good morning, the grand rising, all those things. Yes.
Not the grand rising.
Yes, we
That's different. This is not a movie.
Is it? Because they go full Hotep on us sometimes.
Not Hotep.
Not there's anything wrong with Hotep. I'm just saying. Okay. But with that being said, so we've had these red flag scenarios. So Michael, you were on the show because you openly admit
I'm toxic as shit.
That you are toxic.
Oh, so wait a minute.
You toxic,
are you toxic,
like
or do you prefer toxic?
Or both?
I'll say it one more time. I swear I articulated myself very well. I'm toxic as shit.
You're toxic, but do you
Now,
also
hold
like
on.
toxic women?
I can digress. I love toxic women. And if you hear me, each one of you are toxic in your own way.
That's true. We all have toxic
Okay.
traits.
So if you hear me, there is to me it's about in the beginning it's about the chase, right? So I am the type of person, I don't like to lose.
You're competitive.
Yeah.
Hence the mush ball.
So you gonna get them draws or nobody gets them draws.
That gets to a whole nother level.
What I really mean is
He said, I win.
I do win though, but I'd be an idiot if I thought that there wasn't another 10 niggas, because I don't talk to ugly females. I assume that somebody else thinks you're cute. So why would I not think somebody else is in your inbox?
So you're in competition with other people that you don't know.
I have a sister, we won't say her name or point out who she is, but she taught me it's okay to talk to two people at the same time as long as you haven't told one person this is a monogamous relationship.
Yeah, that's true. If
you have the right to date.
If you haven't had the conversation, yeah.
If you have not,
if there's no
that is my sister.
ground
I
rules.
was talking about her. Okay, that is my sister. I thought we couldn't talk about who it was. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna back
she
up.
didn't say that, but that's okay.
I didn't.
Welcome to the family, Nick B. Apparently, we're all family right now. We like sis.
The point
Yes.
the point I'm trying to make is it's like you're ending your own game. The idea is to draw her closer to you. The idea is to stand out. Mm-hmm. The idea is to be something that she's not seen. So, as my good friend on the other side of this podcast has said, women don't like hearing "Hey, beautiful."
Right.
But what I've also listened to, because it's more to it than just that, is that they only get "Hey, beautiful." At the same time of day, at the same time of day, every day, it's just "Hey, beautiful." Where's the dialogue? Where's how's your day going? Is everything going cool? Like
So from there, explain. Okay, so what you're saying sounds nice. It don't sound toxic. It sounds like you just enjoy the chase. So what part of?
No, I enjoy all pieces of it. I'm saying that in the beginning there is a chase.
Yes, no, absolutely. So what part of where that happens for you that turns toxic?
Because I don't say "Hey, beautiful." I used to. If you're hearing me, respectfully.
Yeah.
It, as she pointed out, which I didn't understand why. Because if I'm telling you as a man that you're beautiful, I should at least get a thank you. Even if you're not interested in me, because someone paid you a compliment. At least my mother that's white raised me that way. Mm-hmm. Okay? So why wouldn't I get a response? Unless you're high acidity, you're better than me, you're watch it, because now I don't get the response, so only my mind gets to tell me why you didn't.
Gotcha. So I think what I'm hearing is that the toxicity happens when you don't get the response that you're looking for.
On both ways.
Gotcha. So explain to us then what it is about toxic women that you like.
Part of it has to do with the chase. If you're built correctly, the chase is actually a back and forth. It becomes like a waltz, if you will.
But there's a difference between a healthy level of chasing where you're, going after somebody, you're pursuing somebody and they're responding, than when it gets toxic. So what level of it for you? Because you say you like toxic.
Yeah, but see, what I call toxic and what y'all talking about considering toxic are two different things. So to me, that
let's break it down.
respectfully,
What does toxic mean?
Yeah, what is
your definition?
Okay, y'all question. That nigga ran out of game when he got mad.
Okay,
he already lost.
Gotcha.
So he's fuck toxic. What else are we talking about? She's not gonna respond because you came at her so out of pocket.
Right.
Just because she said she didn't want to go to.
Right. But to you, what's your definition of toxic?
Toxic is like I say a whole bunch of shit to you very fast, hang up the phone, block you, wait 10 minutes, unblock you, say some more shit, block you again, and then call you tomorrow and say, "Baby, I love you, I'm sorry." That's toxic.
Oh.
Got it. That is.
See how they laughing? That's toxic.
But you like that.
What y'all talking about is an idiotic nigga. What y'all saying is a dumb nigga to me.
Okay, so I got it. But so
boy.
That's what you like doing, right? So
no, this is what I'm good at.
What's the response that you get from doing things like that?
I don't do that. I, for instance, would just add you, and if you so accepted me, I've learned this, which is why I don't say "Hey, beautiful" no more. I jump on your post. Fuck your inbox.
Oh, so you're going to do it
because see, I'm the type of nigga that's weird. Like, I'll just say less you. I'll just keep saying say less. So for me, it's a noun. It means a person, place, or a thing. So you either vibe with me and understand I'm not ever being disrespectful and it's only a good thing, but in the way that I mean it, to the degree of it starts out with maybe a like. And then every time I say less, it becomes a love. Then after you love me enough times, then I jump in your fucking inbox.
So ladies, what he's saying is pay attention to when the guy's like, love, and then start talking to
No,
you.
them.
Right? No.
Liking what I'm saying.
I'm confused.
I say less, her post. Watch this. She makes a post, a picture, just a picture.
So I just want to go. I want to
top
go back
of the morning to you, right? Just a selfie. Top of the morning.
Let's go back to your example.
Say less.
Let's go back to your example where you said.
Did we ever get the question answered?
I don't think we did. So.
Okay.
I was trying.
It's okay. We got this.
So we're trying to keep up with you. You're good. You're good.
Right. So you said an example of what toxic is: block you, unblock you, say some shit, wild, crazy, whatever.
Block you again.
With that example, what is the response that is attractive to you that would come with that action?
It ain't even attractive. It's the man part of me that's an idiot that just likes the fact that now I want to win.
So it's a game.
Yeah, it turns into a game that's, I know it's toxic,
So
but
you
because
like
I love this person also, because now we're talking about somebody that I'm actually in a relationship with, or fuck with the long way, in my the way I would say it.
Okay.
My apologies if I ain't supposed to cuss. The point I'm getting at is it's different than just I meet you on the internet, and that's not toxic to me. That's ill will. That's retarded. Like, how are you gonna win? That same man couldn't even have the balls to walk up to you and offer to buy you a drink in the club.
Gotcha. So with that being said, what were your examples of love growing up? Like, what did you have that led you to how you behave in relationships now? That was your example.
I mean, I guess the easiest one is I was told I was loved on a regular basis. Okay. I was told that I could be whatever I wanted. All I needed to do was apply myself. Okay. And even in times when I was being a dumbass and I should did way better. Instead of getting berated, I was told, well, if you know you did this, and this, you wouldn't even have to be here. You'd have been there, and now you're struggling to get here, and we got to do all this extra work. Could have just did it to begin with. But it wasn't disseminated aggressively or attacking-wise. It was something that pondered and made me think. For instance, I was also taught that the only question that's retarded is the one you don't ask.
Got it. That makes sense.
And no disrespect to the word itself, but it's verbiage.
I get you. And so then, as an adult, how did that translate into what you do now in relationships, or how you navigate relationships, or what you deemed as toxic relationships? How does that navigate, or how does that go into that scenario with you?
In my humble opinion, it may sound conceited. I hope it doesn't. Like, I'm different. Like, I have ADHD. So when I was younger, I had this thing that they call squirrel. So them coming across, taking a picture, I would have stopped, looked at him,
I yell that randomly sometimes.
And then came back to you. Gotcha. So for me now, we can talk, and I can say, well, he's on this side of the room. He had his phone in his hand. He was over here. If somebody else walked in, I will process it now. But in the same breath, if you hear me, I'm also not paying attention to everything because I saw that.
And so in a relationship, so you're taking what you've learned as a youth about love and how you were treated and how you process things. How do you put that into a relationship now?
I go right when they go left.
What does that even mean?
She's mad, and instead of being mad with her, I tell her I love her and I'm sorry I did that because I hear what you're saying. Gotcha. Because if we're honest, we all want to be heard and we don't feel heard.
So, go ahead.
I got a question. So just because, like you mentioned that you definitely feel that you're kind of have toxic trait, toxic energy, and you gravitate towards that. Do you ever wish or look for something that is considered healthy, or do you run from that? Or would you rather be in a different position, or are you perfectly like, yep, unhealthy is the way for me? Or, do you seek healthy relationships?
Okay, so because of how I was raised, and I only see the world in black and white and there is no gray, I've never been taught a healthy relationship. My mom wasn't married to my dad. My dad's mom and dad were married, but that was a messed up relationship.
Got it.
My mother's dad and mom were married, but he cheated, and she has a half-sister. So what's right?
Got it. That's true. So with that being said, so like Nick B and I had this conversation a while ago about how we took what we learned growing up and either mimicked it or went a different direction. So like for me, I went a different direction of what I saw at home or what I was taught. Yeah. So for you, is that what you are saying, that you want the same thing, or you tend to gravitate to the same thing that you saw growing up, like not people being not together and people
not to repeat it or wanting to repeat it? Yeah.
Okay, so I was raised that you should court someone, marry them, and then have children.
And how'd that work out for
you? As well as then have sex, if you hear me. I fucked the sex part off.
I was going to say, I don't think that
at the age of like 16 like an idiot. But I pride myself to say that I never had a child until I was married. And I was married first, and then we had a kid.
Yeah.
It wasn't, she was pregnant and we got married.
Gotcha.
So even though I prided myself on that, it still went left like the homies I had that got a baby mama when they was in high school. Ain't no different in no way, shape, or form.
Right.
A little deeper because I was married, or a little deeper because this situation is different than that. But still the same outcome.
So in your experiences, what parts of your relationships that have not worked out have been the toxic examples? And I say like this, the best like celebrity example is blue-facing, what's her name, Christine Rock.
I don't even know, why are they famous? How did they start being? Who are they?
Well, he's a rapper.
All over my timeline.
Because they fight. It's Jerry Springer.
And I'm like, they are all over my timeline, and I'm just like, why do we? I just keep scrolling. I'm like,
is that like a goal relationship?
Watch this, because people are toxic and don't admit it. They want to watch downfalls. If we was to talk about somebody rapping about God or coming out, like that's not going to be viral. But two people that really love each other, that fight a lot, y'all want to watch that 24/7. That's toxic in itself.
It is toxic.
I definitely scroll past. It's not for me.
No, I hear you on the other end of this, but the problem is society doesn't. Society doesn't scroll past.
I feel like she's choking with that tattoo. She's choking herself.
She's choking. Is that what the tattoo is?
It's right here on
his
her
hand.
neck.
Oh Jesus! I never noticed that. That is, I can't get past the tooth. But okay.
But watch this. Can you tell me? And I don't watch it like she doesn't watch it. I know of it, and I've watched some things, but I don't click it when it scrolls up. Can you say they don't love each other?
I don't think they do. I don't think.
Hold on, wait. What relationship where people love each other doesn't have problems? Now, don't get me wrong. There's an extreme, but there's still a problem. Problem is a problem. There's no gray.
I think you can love somebody and it can be unhealthy and not beneficial to either one of you. And I think that's their relationship.
The people that have been married for 75 years, which is hard as hell in my opinion,
right?
Respectfully, which it exists. You trying to tell me they didn't have that? Y'all just didn't know?
No,
so the problem with society is we want to go, hold on, social media. We want to go tell Tom, Dick, and Harry, but Tom, Dick, and Harry don't have a marriage.
True.
So why are you telling somebody that ain't married what's going on in your marriage? How can they give you advice on something they've never even obtained?
That is true.
Why would I even listen to you? That's like trying to be a millionaire, but I'm talking to a nigga that's standing on the street selling dope. Even if he has money, it's not a residual income. It ain't gonna keep regenerating itself.
Right.
I'm gonna talk to the man that knows how to give residual wealth.
But in this moment, we're talking about toxic relationships.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. So, for instance, for me, my mom's relationship with my father was toxic.
Okay.
They've known each other for over 50 years.
But I'm saying, but do you think that you mimic that? Do you?
Completely.
Okay.
But not on purpose.
Okay.
It took till I was a couple of years ago, and as of this point now, to realize that's what I'm doing unknowingly.
Gotcha. So in preparation for this podcast, we had a conversation, and you were talking about how you said you enjoyed the part where you were like, I'm gonna tell this girl something, and she can be like, fuck you, and that's what I like. And you said that turns you on. It
turns me on for the fact that she doesn't want to admit I'm right. Because at the end of the day, I'm not wrong.
So you like to argue?
Oh, I love to argue.
Do you think that's toxic? Arguing just
arguing
to argue?
with my woman, yeah.
But arguing just to argue?
I don't ever argue just to argue. I argue to be right.
You're arguing right now.
I argue to be right, though.
But isn't that
it's not just an argument to me. I want to be right, and once I'm right, I quit. Because that's all I cared about.
Right. So do you think that's toxic?
Hell yeah.
Gotcha.
Isn't it toxic when somebody doesn't choose to argue because their point got said and they don't want to listen no more?
I don't know if it's toxic to not argue.
No. They said their point. They just don't continue the banter. So if you hear me, you said what you felt to me, then you said, I don't want to talk about it no more, and walked off.
But isn't that what you said? Like you say something, you block them?
Oh, because I'm going to keep talking. You ain't going to stop me.
But you just said that was something that you did, like you block people.
Yeah, and I'm saying that's, hold on. No, really, that's happened to me.
Oh,
from a woman's standpoint.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But I don't stop talking to her, if you get what I'm saying, which is why it's toxic, which obviously I must like it because I keep going back to it.
Got it.
But as a woman, women will say their piece, in my humble opinion, or at least with my wife, ex-wife, and other relationships. You'll say your piece and then tell me, I don't want to talk about it anymore, leave me alone.
What is the worst thing that has happened out of a toxic situation for you?
Destruction that had nothing to do with what the argument really was about. So for me, like, unless you, and this is my opinion, it's not a fact, but I feel unless you deal with any type of pain, So, for instance, I know a female that I was with that basically destroyed the upper part of my mother's house. But we were arguing about whether or not in schools do-rags are gang-related. I'm dead ass.
I'm sorry.
But that turned into a destruction of an upstairs of a house to the degree of like thousands of dollars, if you're hearing me.
Wow.
Now, watch this. I, as a man, had done things in my own opinion that would have warranted that. Not saying I like it, but it would have made sense that what I did, that you went that left.
Gotcha.
This time I was puzzled.
Gotcha.
But
So
if you
this
hear
person
me
just
because
reacted?
but if you hear me, I feel because the original anger that's probably wasn't talked about at the time was never dealt with, it was the straw that broke the camel's back.
It carried over to the next argument. Gotcha.
So then it looks like you went so left what you did, but really your pit of anger that made you boil over stems from something that nobody's even talking about right now.
Gotcha. So you have expressed that you have changed your approach in certain ways, right? That have the way you verbalize it is not toxic, right? So there's certain things that you have expressed that you do in a relationship or in pursuing people or whatever that's not toxic. So is it your goal to end your toxic patterns and to then develop more quote unquote healthy relationships, or is it something that you're like,
I'll go back to it. I still don't know what a healthy relationship is. I wasn't taught that. I have an opinion, but that doesn't make it healthy.
So I guess for me, healthy to you would be the opposite of what's happening for you now, right?
This is me. Healthy is we argue. Everybody gets to have their opinion and say. Each one is acknowledged and given merit for what it is. And then the argument's over. That's the growth that I want to get to. In theory, it ends up stopping at one point, and it doesn't ever get fixed, and then it gets worse and it gets worse, and now it's I don't like this relationship no more.
Does that have to do with the women that you pick? Because you said you like toxic women, so then do you continue to pick the same type
I
of women?
admit it now. I don't go looking for toxic, but I don't shy away from it. Like, if you hear me, I aspire to be better than what I am today. But I'd be weird if I said that I couldn't talk to a woman that doesn't have an associate's degree. But I don't have I'm not gainfully employed at this moment. Hopefully I get this job on Monday. I do not live in my own. I'm different. I'll tell the truth, because at the end of the day, all I have is that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have the money. I don't have the Benz. I don't have the.
Right.
So for me, my flex is, I bet you won't tell the truth. What's your flaws? Because I'll accept you if you tell them to me.
But I'm just saying, so do you tend to find yourself attracted to a type of woman that ends up always being toxic? And then how would you navigate that if you're trying to get to your ideal space where you can have those arguments that end after a healthy conversation? What does that look like? Is it because you're picking a certain type of, like, you are attracted to something in somebody that always causes toxic behavior?
I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I think that's what's the most toxic about me. I don't have I can't fuck with you because you don't meet this. Like, if you hear me, everybody's you don't meet this is gonna be different. I know somebody that's a man that makes $100,000 a year, but he's also passes judgment on people, and some people don't like that. I know a woman that has a master's degree and is phenomenal, beautiful. Now watch this. She's a little heavy set. I don't have a problem with that as a man. And I love this person dearly, but if I was to be honest, if I wasn't close with that person and they were to meet me I wouldn't even get a shot, because I don't meet a standard for that person, and I respect that. But then how can you be on the flip side mad because he thinks you're overweight?
So
because he's being shallow. So
question, then you're saying you don't have standards.
Right. So obviously I want you to be to a certain standard of, if you will, beauty-esque. So that in itself still cuts out a group of people. Now once we get to that, once we get to that piece, then I'm going to say I don't have any standards that you have to meet there for me to continue to talk to you. I will allow the organicness of our relationship, what we speak to and don't speak to, decide whether or not, if it's, because women like to, in my opinion, have sex just like we do, if it's just going to be about fucking, or if it could grow to more. But I'm not going to pass judgment. Because I could be past judgment on any day of the week and twice on Sunday. And you also, which I believe in a higher power. I do not believe in religion. I believe in spirituality. I could possibly see what I believe in God on the street. And if I don't just be the person I'm supposed to be that he made me to be, I could miss that blessing because I thumbed my nose at it because of the way something looked.
Right.
So, I mean, for me, that's the hard part. So it's like.
Would you ever get married again? You mentioned you've been married before.
I plan to be married again.
Yeah, okay.
But it's only because it's like, what else are we doing then? Why would I ever be in a relationship? I might as well just say I want to meet women and fuck, respectfully. If I ain't trying to get married, what else are we talking about? Realistically, what you eat don't make me shit, and if we really ain't gonna get married, then why are we not building? So if we're not building, why do I care about your money like you should care about mine? So it should just be fuck it. I'm serious though. Like, I mean, that's a very like harsh view of it, but if we keep it at a buck, what else is there?
So I wonder, with all that being said, you have a level of standards that you do look for women.
Yeah.
Look for in women. You do have an idea of what you would like to be your relationship without having the destructive and the negative results that you've had in the past.
Agreed.
So what would your ideal relationship look like in the future if you had all the right pieces in place?
Communication, understanding, forgiveness, and a willingness to push through when normally you'd quit.
And how do you feel about therapy for couples and for individuals?
Respectfully, you wouldn't need therapy for your marriage if you had fixed yourself before you got in the marriage.
So individuals should do therapy on their own to work on themselves?
My bad. As well, if you cause something in there, you cheat, any infidelity or something to that degree, then yeah, y'all need to go together for that. But in my opinion, most issues arise in marriages or relationships due to past baggage that was never dealt with. Whether it was swept under the rug or whether it was thought to be dealt with, but realistically it ain't dealt with if you're accusing me or making me feel like I did something that he did.
Gotcha. I got it. So
you're saying like past baggage, if that hasn't been addressed.
Well, like if I'm with a female and I always answer the phone when she calls. I text back right away. If she hits me, I keep it a buck. I answer every FaceTime, no matter who I'm around. I have no problem showing. Like, why would you ever say I'm cheating? Why would that even be an innuendo?
Right. Got it. So that's just saying past baggage would cause an issue in the relationship.
I mean, on both sides,
right.
though.
Okay.
Because men are just as insecure as women are. We just don't say it.
True.
Put your face away.
Girl, your eyes is too damn big.
That is hilarious.
Close your lids.
So
Stay open too wide. Sorry.
You look like your daddy, girl.
Okay.
You're looking like your daddy.
Y'all ready?
No, okay, bet. My bad.
So what advice would you give to somebody who is experiencing a very volatile, toxic relationship? From your experiences, how would they mend it, fix it, get out of it? What would be your advice?
And I'm not at all somebody that does this tenfold. I need to work on this myself. Take accountability for yourself first. Hardest thing to do is to say I was wrong, stand on it, and take all the backlash that comes from it because you caused it.
Right.
If you say but, or you deflect, or you say it was somebody else without ever saying first, I hear you, I was wrong for that, I apologize, then you don't want it to be better.
Got it.
You're deflecting.
Got it. Nick, what are your takeaways from today?
I mean, it's a lot to digest. I guess what I've really taken away from a lot of this is that where a lot of toxicity lies is in lack of communication and accountability. That's really what I hear Michael mentioning a lot of is accountability, standing behind what you say, and then working on yourself so that you can be the best you in the relationship. But I mean, kind of going back to the beginning, I know that that's also something you're attracted to. So I don't know, maybe some people just also like that energy. Like Michael mentions, he enjoys kind of that chase, that natural hunt that men have to get their end goal, their prize, their game. So, to each their own. I guess love how you want to love and be happy in your
Wait,
your truth.
I got a question. Sorry to interject. So, like, you don't want a man to come up to you and say, hey, how are you doing? Would you like a drink? Because that's part of the chase.
Oh, that to me that seems like an introduction to yourself.
Yeah, but
You're
you got to hear me.
finding a way to.
We're primal instincts. So I saw you from across the room. I had to.
Yeah.
I had to stomach up the mustard to go over there and even speak to you, because us men that sometimes don't have the backbone to feel about themselves as they should.
Right.
They feel inferior before like you're beautiful, you're well put together, like you're doing your thing, you're with your homegirls, like for one, how do I even get past your homegirls to not look weird? Like, what if I only got $20 in my pocket and I want to buy you a drink, but you got 3 homegirls with you? And some females will say, if you want to buy me one, you got to buy my homegirls one.
Sometimes.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I absolutely appreciate any man that, because I realize it's not easy to approach anyone. I mean, I think that's also why women, we tend to not. It's not easy. I give men a lot of credit for that. So yeah, no, to me, I feel like someone coming up to you and saying, "Hey, I'd like to get to know you on some level. Can I buy you a drink? Can I take you to dinner?" To me, that seems like an invitation to an introduction. I want to get to know you. I respect that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I also would like to say to you that I understand, and I feel like it's something I'm working towards being better at. Like, the toxicity that I say I like, it 9 times out of 10 in my life hasn't worked to where it became or blossomed into what I want. Like, basically, because I didn't leave because I loved him, and I thought that if I stayed and did this, it would get better.
Right.
It never has happened.
Gotcha.
Not in the essence of it's her fault, my fault, or whatever. I'm just saying it hasn't happened. So the toxicity to me in that part is that I love them so much, I keep banging my head into the corner of the wall, even though the definition of insanity is doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting a different result.
Right.
So that's the toxic part to me, because I love so hard that, like, nah, it's got to work.
Right.
She's got to see that I'm different now if I fucked up. She's got to see that that's not happening. You feel what I'm saying? Like, but that's toxic.
Yeah. So I think my takeaway then is, again, like you said, communication, accountability, owning your shit, and then changing what hasn't been working for you, right? Like you were saying. So, like, if it's not working and you've gotten bad results and bad outcomes and you've had bad relationships, we're going to change what we're doing.
Right.
Look for something different.
Or even to the degree of, like, instead of passing the buck, like, if you've had 3 females and all 3 of them females told you this is an issue, it ain't them. Right.
That part. So a deeper look into self. We're talking about accountability.
Because you can't persecute nobody else if you ain't willing to stand on the wrongs that you got.
That's facts. Well, I like how we end that. Yes, you can't. What'd you say again? Say it again.
You can't persecute somebody else if you ain't willing to stand on the wrongs that you got.
Boom. That's how we ended it. And Michael, how can they find you on social media?
Michael Bain Sr. on Facebook. I don't know my IGs and all of that. Like, at the end of the day, I'm in Portland. Come find me.
That's funny. Portland is small, y'all. For those of y'all not in Portland, we're small.
It's only like 8 black people.
You can find us, and 3 of us are on the show. Nick B, where can they find you at?
Yes. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Nicole Leigh Law, but of course I can be reached on Dirty Roses podcast on all platforms.
Leigh,
LaRie, how can we find you?
Y'all can find me, Leigh LaRie, on all platforms, LeighlaRie. And then, of course, Dirty Roses podcast. And you can find us on all major platforms. Make sure you subscribe, like us, follow us, and join the conversations, because we carry these on social media and they're pretty good. So we look forward to seeing y'all next week. Thank you for joining us.
Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you. And thank
you.
Bye.
Bye.